Good morning. Well, looks like another rotten day. I watched your video, Doug, on your speaker. Looks like you've got the same exact Regal speaker that I received. And I see the mounts work out really well for you. The subject of this video is to replace a recone. I know I can't recone, but I want to give you some close-ups of the speaker and my idea of perhaps doing it. The only way I'd be able to do that, I think, is to literally patch it up. And the only glue I got is the Duco cement, and that hardens up, so it's going to stiffen up the surround even more, and it's just going to sound more like a tweeter than anything else. There's just no way I can physically do it, you know, but I want to get a close-up look of it, at it, because reconing a speaker is an art, and very, very, very few people are able to do it. A speaker this size. Now, maybe the larger ones, you know, you can get the kits, and you get the rubber surround, or whatever they use, like on the woofers, the high compliance. They're larger and maybe easier to work with, and somebody with good eyesight, I'd say a lot of people could do it, but little speakers like this, no. There's no way you could do it. So if you are able to do it, you're a miracle worker. That's all I can say. Okay, so let me get you on the bench here. Okay, this is the Regal speaker that you showed on your video, Doug, and same speaker that we've both received from our kind viewer. And it is a very light speaker. And my thought, and I'm not going to be able to do this, and I don't really want to wreck a speaker to try to recone. But if I had good eyesight and I had the talent to remove this band right here, this cardboard or whatever, that's glued down and holds the surround, and leaving the voice coil in the frame, because the diameter of this voice coil, as you'll see on the original speaker, is a little smaller. So it's a smaller voice coil. The voice coil rubs a little bit on the bad speaker, but it could be centered. But my idea is, if I had the good eyesight and the ability to do it, take an X-Acto knife and cut around here, eliminating this, leave this in, and undoing this, which is going to be impossible. It'll tear the cone all to hell, I know that. So I don't want to do that, because I've got just the one speaker. The other one I sent to one of my other good viewers, because I don't need two. And the gentleman that sent us these speakers is very kind and was willing to let other people have them too, from what I understand. So I don't need two of them, because I only got the one radio. However, I don't want to risk wrecking this speaker, because I'll no doubt fail. Because my idea was to take the entire cone and just glue it on top of the other cone, cutting off the suspension. Well, let me go bring the radio over here. Okay. Now you can see the felt that's in the middle here. It is a larger voice coil. which would mean it'll have a little heavier wiring. The 35L6 with, I don't have the book in front of me, the tube manual, with the proper proper plate voltage, the max would be 3 watts. So 3 watts, but of course the B plus on this radio, I don't remember what it was. I did know. I can't remember anything anymore. Is not that high, so you might get 2 watts out of it. You know, full blast with about 10% distortion probably. My idea was, and it's not going to work out because I got so much glue on this, I don't even know where the terminals are for the, I think it's here and here, for the tinsel wire, the connectors that go in the back. My idea was to just cut this all out here up to the cardboard. I wouldn't try to remove this because I'm going to fail on this. This is glued down pretty good. I've seen speakers where these things, the glue has come off and they're just hanging there, just laying there. But not this one. This is glued tight, just like the replacement speaker over here. So you're not going to remove that without tearing, not so bad tearing this, but the replacement. So I was thinking of cutting the middle out, but leaving the tinsel wire connectors, which go to the voice coil, in place and removing everything else. But that is a job that most people are not able to do. I don't care what anybody says. If somebody can recone this thing, I'd like to see them do it. Because there's companies, I think, out there that will recone speakers. But that's going to be beyond what I can afford and what the radio is worth. Probably costs $50 or $100 to have that done. I would love to be able to keep the original framing and keep the, just replace the cone. Now, I'm going to have to use my fingers because I'm going to be poking a hole through it trying to use the pen. Fingers were invented before pointers, as I keep saying. When you push down on this, there's a little rubbing, but not that bad. But it is rubbing. But the suspension is so stiff because there's so much glue here, and it was glued before I got it, that there is no way that you're going to be able to just drop a cone on top of this, because you're not accomplishing anything except covering up all these holes and maybe making it look a little better. But it's not going to sound any better. It's still going to be a very stiff, compliant cone. Now, these speakers are not high compliance, but you need some compliance. Otherwise, if it's too stiff, it's going to be a mid-range. It's going to sound like a pocket transistor radio. We don't want that. So, I've seen the coffee filter trick where you just glue this in. I'm not good at that stuff. You know, especially the surround here. There's a hole here. In other words, I really should remove this whole cone, but then I'll have nothing. So the option would be to replace the entire thing which is what this whole getting the speaker idea is all about. We may have to go that way. I'm not going to attempt it. I don't want to butcher up the speaker that was sent to me. The way it is right now, it works, but you can see a hole right here. Put the light behind it. So, that's the story, folks. Just wanted to make this little show and tell video here. We're not going to do part 10 until we get the control. We don't have it yet. So that's the reason why I haven't done anything with the speaker, and I'm tossing around the ideas. I like the amounts that you have there, Doug. It'll probably work quite well. Now, let's see if I can get you in here. Apparently the tab is on the bracket, on the horizontal part of the bracket that's mounted on the speaker frame, and there's holes in the side of the transformer here. The transformer, again, I will measure that. As close as I can read it, it's 1 3/8 inch, 1 1/4 to 1 3/8 from here to here on the width, okay? And you got the little tabs that come down out of the sides of the horizontal metal bracket that's spot welded to the speaker frame here. The distance, and I will stop the record right now, the distance between the winding core from here to here is 1 1/4 inch from here to here. Okay? So, and the height of this is, you might not be able to see that, the top of the dial here to here, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch. This is 1/8 to 1/4 inch lower than this. So there's a certain amount of height is required too. But I don't think the height is a problem, because the bracket you show going on a smaller magnet would be down lower than this a little. Okay, so I'm not going to risk wrecking the speaker to try to do a recone job, which is virtually impossible to do. Like I say, if the speaker in the radio was, the whole thing was literally falling out of the frame, yes. But I would have to have a couple of scrap speakers with good cones and maybe burnt out voice coils in order to do that. I would never attempt to transfer over a complete cone with the spider, what they used to call a spider, because as you can see, it's virtually impossible. Actually, totally impossible. Like if I wanted to unhook this cone from here and use the voice coil tool, which is smaller in diameter, so you couldn't do that. But if it was the same diameter and the voice coil was burnt out in the ZENITH radio, you would not be able to transfer the cone with the voice coil, because you can't get in there. So the only way you could do it is to just remove all this, which would have to be literally, you tear it all up. You couldn't do it. You could not do it. So the only way you could recone would be a complete new cone, or take parts of this cone and glue it on the old cone. I've thought of that, but I'm not going to wreck the speaker, because as you saw in the old speaker in the Zenith, the surround here is virtually frozen with glue. My gluing and other gluing that was done when I got the radio. So we'll probably end up using this Regal speaker. I don't even know if it's upside down. But the first thing I'm going to do is put the volume control in when I get it. That way I don't have clip leads all over the place. Then I'll probably just put this speaker in, and the mount that Doug has, I'll probably buy one of those from him and try to mount the speaker onto that transformer. But that's a ways down the road yet before we can do that. So that's going to end this video. To cone or recone. Thanks for watching.